Data never lies. Business intelligence in smart retail and advertising. The topic of business intelligence will be presented by Hikvision's technical engineer Ryan Chen. He will introduce Hikvision's solution for smart retail and advertising. He will also explain how data is helping to improve the retail and advertising business. Mr. Ryan, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Miss, for the introduction. Let me share my presentations. Okay, good morning, dear all the audience. This is Ryan from Hikvision Europe technical team. And today my topic that I would like to share with you is data never lies. We know that in the past 3 or 4 years, we keep talking about the AI technology, the artificial intelligence, and we have in the face recognition, we have the ANPR for the vehicles. We also have the AccuSense technologies. And with the development of all these technologies, it totally changed the way how people protect their lives and properties. So since now more and more data is generated every day, we are thinking about what else we can do besides the security business. And here comes the topic of today, the business intelligence in smart retail and advertising. Before we go to the topic, I would like to explain to you what is the business intelligence. So usually BI refers to the procedure and the technical infrastructure that collects, stores, and analyzes the data produced by companies' activities. Let's take the retail as an example. So here I prepared some questions. So in a retail, where are the customers attracted to? And the second question is, if the promotion area attractive to the client? The third question is, there are a lot of areas in retail, and which area is the most popular one and which are not? The last question is, if the waiting time will affect customers' engagement, because we know usually we don't like to wait before we pay the bills, and what is the maximum tolerance for the client. So I hope with the idea of BI, we can find out the answers. BI analyzes all the data generated by a business and present easy to digest reports, performance measures, and the trends that inform management decisions. So just take the retail as an example. What kind of data we can generate and how these data could help to improve the business. Like the definition of the BI, we know that it's about data collection and data analysis. So what kind of data we can have from, let's say, the retail? Firstly, it's the online data from the subsystems, from the CRM, the OA systems, the POS systems. We can easily get the data of the sales revenue. It's a very important data which represents how the business is going. But what is behind these final numbers? I mean, if we would like to find the reasons how we do in this month comparing to the last months, we need to look deeper, and we can find 2 offline data. One is the customer traffic, and the second one is the conversion rate. And I will explain these 2 data by sales tunnel model. So in a sales tunnel model, we have 3 different parts. The first one is the total traffic, which represents, for example, in retail, every hour we can have 100 clients walking past by. So this 100 number will be the total traffic for this retail. And the traffic in number means for this 100 person who will go into the shop. So let's say for this our 30 client go into the shop, then the traffic number is 30. And we can do some simple calculation to get the walk-in rate, which will be the 30 divided by the 100. So we can have the walk-in rate will be 30% for this hour. And the walk-in rate will indicate where the sales opportunity lies. So for example, if there are 100 people go past by your shop and only, let's say 3 of them will go into the shop, which means the opportunity is not in the shop, but outside of the shop. The second important data is the conversion rate, which is the transaction number divided by the traffic number. And for the transaction number, it means how many deals will be made in this time. For example, like I mentioned, we assume that 30 clients will go into the retail, and finally 5 or 6 of them will spend money in this shop. So we can easily check and get this number from the POS system, and we will find the transaction number will be, let's say 6. So we're using this 6 divided by the traffic in number 30, we can get the conversion rate will be, let's say 20%. And these two data, we will explain how the sales revenue goes. And by increase these two numbers, we can improve the business. So with the idea of BI, we can calculate the working rate. And here is an example how we can generate the working rate from Hikvision Services DPV camera solution. On this picture, we can see that we can put a camera near the entrance of the shop. Then we can define an area which will cover the near the entrance part of the retail. And then we can counting all the people passed by this area, and we can have the total traffic. At the same time, we can define a line which is just under the entrance. And when people go across this line into the shop, we can count the traffic in number. So by using the traffic in number divided by the total traffic number, we can have the working rate. It's the second data that I mentioned in the BI is the conversion rate. And we know that the conversion rate equals to the number of the deals which we can search or read out from the POS system. So it will be very important to have a valid customer traffic to get an accurate conversion rate. Why I mentioned valid customer traffic, because when you define the area to counting the customer traffic in numbers, we will not only count the number of the customer, but also we know that in reality, we will have the staff, we will have the managers and also the security that will also working in that area. So we need to delete the counties of this kind of stuff by define a different staff libraries. And also we know that some client will enter and leave the same areas several times. So it will be counted not like 1, but like 2 or 3. We also need to delay these duplicated countings with our cameras. And with these two ideas, we can generate more valid customer traffic and get a more accurate conversion rate. So now we have a basic idea of what BI it is. So now let's go back to previous questions to say how the layout optimizations could help to improve the business. So for the first question, in retail, where are the customers attracted to? So using the technology and idea of BI, we can using the flow direction analyze, we can get a quick glance on where the customers are attracted to once they enter the retail. For example, once the client entered retail, we can find if he will go directly or he will turn to the left or turn to the right. So once you did some layout optimizations, you can have the flow direction, month over month comparisons, and you will say if the layout optimization you made any difference or not. The second question is how attractive is the promotion area? Because we know the promotion is made anytime in a retail. So we can using the idea of the area popularity analysis to generate statistics of the customer traffic and also the dwell time. So let's say from this month, we made a promotion in this area, and finally we found the customer traffic in this area increased, let's say 20%, and the average dwell time of people in this area increased 50%. Then we could say with these numbers, we know we are doing proper promotions. The third question is about which areas are the most popular areas in retail. So by using the heat map, we can find easily by the colors which area are popular and which are not that popular. And also we can define a specific area to get the information of the maximum dwelling time and also the dwelling numbers. The last question is if the waiting time will affect customers' engagement. And we can get this kind of answers from the QE analyze. So by getting the statistics of the QE analyze, we can have the data of the customer traffic and also the waiting time, like the maximum waiting time for a client and also the average waiting time. And also from the report, we can know when will be the peak hour, and maybe the manager will put more people in the cashier to help reduce the average waiting time to improve the service. Okay, and like the definition of BI, we know that we not only collect data, we not only analyze data, and what's more important is we can generate a report which is easy to digest. So the data visualization is also very important. And with the software Hikvision, we can do such kind of demonstration. And here is an example from a chain store called Family Mart. So we can have the total shop visitors of the days. We can have the comparisons of previous days, the average numbers, and also we can have a list of the numbers from each stores. And by the maps, we can find the locations and also the data from a store. By click the detail, we can find the more specific data from one single store. We can find the trends of the data, and it will be much easier for the manager of the shop to get a quick overview and make some quick movements. Okay, so from previous introduction, we know that how the BI are related to and what is the working rate and what is the conversion rate. So with a higher no matter conversion rate or the working rate, we know that we can finally affect the sales revenue. And to increase the conversion rate, we know that it means for the people who are already in the shop, we need to increase the number who will spend money in the shop. We can realize to increase the conversion rate by providing better service, to provide proper products, and also doing the good promotions. And in these ways, we know that we can increase the conversion rate. And what if the conversion rate is fixed and we would like to increase the sales revenue? Then we can increase the traffic in numbers. Okay, and there are two ways to increase the traffic in numbers. The first is increase the total traffic who will pass by the shop. Like in previous hour, we have 100 people who will pass the shop. And now we're trying to do some movement and increase this number to 150 or even 200. The second idea is we increasing the walking rate, which means for these 100 people who across the shop, we are trying to attract more of them will go into the shop. So increasing the total traffic or the walking rate will improve the traffic number. We already said this. And the best way to attract more people is by doing proper advertising. So here comes to the second small topics of today. It's advertising and the multi-target solutions. And I will explain how the idea of BI will affect the advertising and the multi-target solutions and how this can help to improve the business. So first, I would like to introduce that Hikvision is not only act as a CCTV products manufacturer, but also we provide a full range of the commercial display products, including the LED and also the digital signage. And for the outdoor advertising, for sure, we suggest to put in the advertising on the outdoor LED because it's more vivid. And in this case, what kind of data is important? And when you talking to an end user who will spend money on the advertisement, for sure, he would like to know once he spend money and he want to know the numbers of how many people will go pass by the advertising and will watching the advertisement. So it's very important to know in a period how many people will go across this area and watch the audience or watch the advertisement. So this is also called audience measurement. By having this data, we can using the Hikvision 7 series cameras to doing real-time people and vehicle traffic analysis. So here, when I talked about the vehicle traffic analysis, it's not just simple vehicle counting, but we will provide, we can distinguish the motorbikes, we can distinguish the cars, the trucks, and also the buses. And we will calculating the people in different type of vehicles accordingly and getting a more accurate number of the people. And here is a simple live demo that shows how we doing such kind of countings, and we can have the data on the OSD, and also we can getting the data to the our software HikCentral, and we can display this kind of data with different kinds of dashboard. We can, let's say, have the numbers of the day and the comparisons of the previous day, something like this. And this kind of data for the managers, they can use it to doing some analysis and optimized advertisement. Like what is the average audience per hour and what is the peak hour, then he can adjust advertisement to have a more accurate advertisement and to receive a higher return on the investment. And for the indoor advertising, usually we will use the digital signage. Like here we put a digital signage standalone terminals, which can display pictures and also videos. So for the indoor scenario, the traffic will be human beings only. So in this way, we can have not only the people counting, but also the flow control. And also we can do the person's attributes, including the age group, including the genders. And at the same time, we can synchronize the data to the softwares to generate different kinds of reports. And the same like the outdoor scenario, this kind of data could help the managers to optimize the advertisements. So here I put two examples how the people attributes can help improve the advertisement, how they can improve the business. So the first one is doing the right things for the right customers. For example, in a retail, there are several different areas with different shelves. So once we find that for this area, the main customer group is the ladies with the age of 30s. So the managers could think about if they need to make some adjustment on the styles of the clothes or the stuffs. The second is about best service for the customers. So with the statistics on the percentage of positive and the negative emotions when people are leaving the retails, we can say if all the customers are satisfied with the service or not. And the managers could do a movement to increasing this percentage to getting more positive emotions, and in this way to having a better service for the customers. Okay. And there are different kind of dashboards that I mentioned we can have on the software Hack Central. Will be much more flexible. Like we can have the visitors of today, and you will have the comparisons of the past month average, and we can have the working conversion rate. We can have the visitor numbers and the turnover. We can have a ranking list of the most popular areas, and also we can have such like the heat maps and also the customer attributes. And all these kind of no metadata or reports has been analyzed by the idea of BI, and this kind of report will help the managers, the operators to do a movement and improve the business. So let's go back to the BI itself. So we know that BI is about data collecting, data analyzing, and report generation. And the BI will help you to understand what is behind the numbers. People want to know not only why they failed, but also why they succeed, and what is behind the growing of the revenue, because the sales revenue is just the numbers. So for example, if the manager finds out that the sales revenue have increased 20% of this month comparing to the last month, and he would like to know which movement finally helped the business, then he can check, okay, from the data of the BIs, the conversion rate has increased 20% this month. And then looking deeper, he will find the promotion area, the average traffic number have increased, let's say 50%, and the dwelling time has increased also, let's say 40%, which means in this month, we are doing a very proper promotion, and the promotion helps the business to grow in. And we can copy this kind of promotion ways in the next few months, and to keep the business to running in a proper way. And you can always find several excuses for the failures, but there is always reasons behind the success. But no matter excuse or reasons, BI is always helping you to find out what is behind the numbers, because the data never lies. So this will be all the informations, ideas that I would like to share with you today. And I would like to thank you, all the audience, for your attentions. And yeah, that's the part of mine.
Mr. Chen, thank you for your impressive presentation. We have two questions for you. And my first will be, what could lead to a possible miscounting of people in shopping centers or public areas, and how to overcome it?
Yes, the miscounting, let's say with the our technique now, let's say it's not able to avoid. So we can providing as much accurate counting abilities as we can, and now with the data that we doing internal testing, so we can having the accuracy with 98%. And to avoid the miscounting, there are several ways. The first is with a proper installation by following our guidance. The second is, once we find there is a miscounting, we can having the report and also the videos, and we will let our R&D teams to improving the algorithms to increasing the accuracy. Yeah.
Thank you. And my second, how can heat mapping technology help retailers to analyze customer behavior?
Okay, so for the heat maps, it can give you a very direct idea in this area. For example, there are 3 or 4 regions which are popular and which are not. So for the most popular area, which means people would spend more time on this area, people would like to take goods from these shelves, so we can put some high-level products in this area. And for the let's say the cold areas, we can do some promotions, we can do some discount to attract people to spend more time in this area. And then finally, we can turn this cold area to a hot area. Yeah.
Mr. Ryan, thank you. Mr. Ryan Chen from Hikvision.